When I was 16 years old, I became drunk for the first time, and I still remember as if it was yesterday. We were going to a party in our local town. It was the birthday of the King, King's Day. It's a national holiday here in the Netherlands, and it was my first party I ever went to. I already drank a few beers before that, but I never really got drunk before. So as we were cycling towards the party, my anxiety rose and I thought, oh, what are we going to do? And then when we were at the party, I started playing beer pong, I started taking shots, and I started to become drunk. All the feelings of anxiety subsided, and I thought, what a fantastic feeling is this? Of course, then the night after or the morning after, that perfect feeling subsided. But that was my first experience in getting drunk. It was my first real experience with alcohol, and it would mark the upcoming 6 or 7 years of my life where I would become a student, I would binge drink a lot, and I will tell you more about that later. Before I actually started drinking, I was quite a shy and reserved kid, but alcohol made it all better. It removed all the barriers I had in connecting with people, and what it did is that it sort of masked my social anxiety that I had. Because if you're drunk, then nothing really matters, right? There are no barriers, no one is going to tell you that you did something stupid, and even if they did, then we were all doing something stupid, so it doesn't really matter. That first night of drinking translated into me binge drinking every weekend, and when I became a student, it started to become even worse. So I started to binge drink 3 to 4 times a week, and it started to have a very negative impact on my life. I was also drinking at least 1 beer a day, but there's a saying here in the Netherlands that as a student you can't be an alcoholic, which is complete bullshit, but that's what I believed at the time. If I look back at it, alcohol was actually the main reason that I couldn't progress in life. I had these big goals of starting a business, of making something out of my life, but because I was continually binge drinking, being hungover, I was not making the progress that I wanted to make. And you might feel the same way, and that's why I'm creating this video for you, to take you into my journey with alcohol and what I've changed about it and how it has impacted my life. So what is the problem with alcohol? If you, for example, look at Andrew Huberman, which I absolutely love, he has a whole podcast going about the different effects alcohol has on your system, on your health, and how bad it is. But the next time you're with friends, are you really going to think, oh, this is so bad for me, I'm not going to do it? No, right? Because you're there with friends, it's fun, you're in a bar, then you're not going to think about all those reasons that it's actually bad for you. You're just going to think about how much of a fun time you will have with your friends. And that is the biggest problem that alcohol has, what I see. It's so ingrained in our society that it's so difficult to actually break away from it and say no to it. You need to be very sure of yourself if you want to ignore alcohol. There are so many people that will ask you to drink that if you do not want to drink, you will be labeled as weird, and that's something that we find difficult, right? We've been evolved as humans into groups, so we always want to conform with the group, and if you're doing something that's not a part of the group that you're in, then you will feel anxiety, it will not feel nice. And that is why it's so difficult to break the habit of binge drinking and break the habit of drinking alcohol. You can have all the things in your mind of how bad it is. It's not really going to do much if you don't change that part. And the biggest thing alcohol did for me, and probably also the same for you, is that it limits your potential. And it does that by making you not consistent. It limits the consistency you have in life. All good things in life come from the compound effect. The compound effect basically states that if you do something, for example, for a week, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But if you do it for a year, then the effects will compound on each other. The simplest example to take is if you invest into the stock market. If you, for example, get 10% return on your investment every year, which is quite high, then the first year, then that's not that much. But because in the second year, you get 10% return on investment on the 10% you already made, it starts to compound. And then at the end of like 20, 30 years, your investment portfolio goes like this. But it's the exact same thing for your life. And what is the biggest detractor from that consistency, from that compound effect, is by skipping things. Very simple. But that is what alcohol did for me the most, because I could, for example, started to work out, did it for like 2 weeks, and then I started binge drinking 2-3 nights a week, and I started to skip my workouts. I didn't do anything anymore, and then I didn't get into the compound effect of working out. I just started it, I stopped it again, did it for 2 weeks, then didn't do it anymore. And that pattern, I saw it in so many areas of my life. In my business, in my relationships, everything was going, like I was not getting the benefits from the compound effect because I was always being let down by alcohol. And I was not being let down by alcohol, I was letting myself down by drinking alcohol. And it's the same thing, like if you drink alcohol once a year, it's not going to have that much effect on your compound effect, right? But if you drink alcohol every weekend, then your Sunday will always be ruined. The days after that will always be ruined because you're not going into a perfect state again. You're losing momentum, you're losing consistency, and then you're losing the compound effect. And for me, what alcohol did is that the days that I drank, the day afterwards, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to eat bad foods. I just wanted to lay on bed, watch YouTube videos. I didn't want to work on my business. I didn't want to do anything. I became the version of myself that I didn't want to be. And it was all due to one habit, and that was binge drinking. And that's why I made a decision to quit binge drinking. The reason for that is if I am truly committed to my growth and how I want to grow as a person, then how can I let something dictate the consistency I have in such a negative way? Of course, we all have bad habits that are not the best for us, but you have to look at what bad habits have the biggest effect on myself. And if I want to truly get to the vision where I want to be, what sacrifices do I need to make in order to get there? So what was the moment it all changed for me? For me, it was when I did the 75 hard challenge, I think now around 4 years ago. And for those of you that don't know, the 75 hard challenge is a challenge where for 75 days, you do, out of my head, 5 habits. Not drinking alcohol, following a clean diet, doing 2 workouts of 45 minutes every day, drinking a gallon of water, and reading 10 pages a day, and also making a progress pic. And if you fail to do any of those, which I've just lined up, you have to start all over again. And that period with 75 hard was actually the first period in my life where I didn't drink alcohol for an extended period of time. Sure, I didn't drink alcohol for maybe 2 weeks at a time, but I didn't do it for an extended period of time. And that completely blew my mind. For one, the amount of energy I was experiencing, because I was just consistent also with my sleep. Like I had so much energy throughout the day. Also because I was working out 2 times a day, but it had a gigantic impact on my energy. Because it had a gigantic impact on my energy, it also had a gigantic impact on my consistency. So with everything I was doing, I was making progress, and I was seeing the results of the compound effect, because now after 2 weeks of being consistent, I wasn't putting it all down the drain by binge drinking. I was just going on and on and on. And that completely changed my life. It also made me see that in social situations, I don't need alcohol. That was a belief I had before. Like, I need alcohol to have fun in social situations. Whereas what I saw now is that if people drink alcohol, they actually get a bit tired, they get a bit lower in their energy. While during those events, I was very energetic. I was, just very energetic, and most people around me weren't. So that also completely broke my brain. So do I never drink anymore? Well, in fact, I still drink. I still drink an occasional glass of red wine with dinner, maybe once a month, because I do enjoy the experience of a very good, for example, wine. But I'm not binge drinking anymore because I know what kind of effect that has on my life. And if I look at the vision I have now for my life, like it's just not a part of it. So I said to myself, hey, that's not what I'm doing anymore. I'm not being hangover anymore because I'm truly committed to the growth of myself. So what can you do from here? I want to challenge you if you're listening to this. Go 75 days without alcohol. Send me a message or comment below if you're willing to take up the challenge, and I'll send you a message about it. But do it 75 days. I know it will completely change your life. It will completely change your outlook on alcohol. It will change your energy. It will change everything you view about consistency. So without further ado, take me up on the challenge and let's go.